like Bunny or Cure in this case are streaming, I would always tune in.
Ah, excellent. Well,
Right.
Always try and watch their games. And of course in GSL as well.
here we go. We are in game number 1 in the bottom right. Our Korean Protoss player from Jin Air Green Wings, it's Trap.
And in the top left of Triton. Just powering through this tournament, almost under the radar somehow, like in almost every tournament he's ever been in, but with one of the best records. We'll see if he can finally make that mark he's been looking to for so many years. Another Jin Air player. It's Cure. Some Cure fans out there. I think he's been building him up.
Yeah, I think so for sure. It's kind of what Trap went through in the past year, going from a player no one really spoke about into a player that everyone really appreciates.
Gemini.
Yeah, or he's known a long time.
Yeah, last night. Last night.
Yes.
So in the 6 games of the best of 5 between Kieran and Parting, I feel Parting brought him all the way to the Parting is an advanced Trap, but also lacks a lot of the polish, I guess, around the edges. Do you think you also you big game? Do you think Trap looks at that and is like, I'm gonna do some crazy base trades, I'm gonna try to throw him off, or you think he just sticks with whatever game plan he had?
I don't think he's gonna try to play like Parting. They have a completely different playstyle.
Yeah, I would agree with that. But I feel like Parting shows you possibilities. You know, a lot of those games didn't look winnable for Parting last night, and then he just kind of somehow magics his way out of it by walking up a ramp on top of the barracks or something like that.
It's in a game that so rare nobody wins, except the fans, of course. But
all right, so looking at these openings, what are you expecting to see here from Cure?
So first thing to notice from Trap here is he didn't probe scout, so that's kind of awkward for Cure because he was SCV scouting. So now Trap does have a little bit of income advantage for a little bit.
Without the
he
probe
skipped
scout?
the probe scout, so he has more gas, more resources than he would normally have. Not that much, but like the Nexus and stuff like that is slightly faster, while you still maintain more gas income. It's kind of greedy, of course, if you get rushed by a second proxy Rex or even full proxy. But in this case, he got away with it, and Cure was playing safe, and he didn't scout a fast cybercore. So now Trap is doing nothing that Cure or Trap is doing something that doesn't matter if it gets scouted, and he didn't scout, so he's even a little greedy. So that's already a good start for him, and he's just playing standard from now on.
It looks like we're going back to the standard playbook here. We got, this is actually almost a little bit further back, where you got Blink into Robo on 2 base instead of going for a super quick third.
Interestingly enough, a lot of Protosses go for a Sentry and then 2 gate. But I also saw that Parting doing, and now Travis doing it as well. He's getting 1 gate into Twilight into Robo, and then the 2 gateways, without a Sentry, of course, because you don't have the gas. And now he's getting 2 more gases. So I assume that there's not going to be a double forge play. And it doesn't look like he's going to take the 3rd base anytime soon. For this reason, it might be a Robo Bay.
Yeah, I would imagine that we are going to see him go into Colossus from here. Trap does like to play that very kind of defensive style, having Blink to defend everything and getting into that Colossus for the splash.
Well, beautifully scouted there. This map is pretty easy to cover all your bases. You got a watchtower right in the center, and there's not too many alternative paths. So the Widowmine drop, not a huge surprise. And I think Trap, it's always this is the kind of situation where the 3rd try to Widowmine drop is what has a chance. But the first couple.
Scout the 3rd base from Trap? Is there still a Reaper around? No, it died, right?
Yeah, it did die.
He didn't scout the 3rd base.
I'm not sure if he saw anything in the main there, but...
I mean, he saw the Twilight and everything, so he does know about that. He's going for 2 Metavex, which I think is quite strange. That's not something that you see very often. Especially if the Protoss is just staying on 2 bases. I'm not too sure about it.
Would you prefer him to just immediately go for a command center here?
Well, he doesn't know if it's Colossus.
Mm-hmm.
And now he knows. So now he... I was wondering, because with the first medevac, you're always trying to get into the natural, so you can see the gases over there. If there are 4 gases, it's like something 2 base heavy, like Storm, DTs, a Blink Stalker attack, maybe even, or Colossus.
Mm-hmm.
So he made a second medevac. So with the first one, he went into the main. With that one, he doesn't scout anything. But then he made a second one, which now scouted the natural. So now he knows, so everything's good.
It doesn't feel like he's really gotten very much done. Obviously, we've seen 3 mines die and only 2 probes.
Yeah, it's very hard to do any damage against a Protoss staying on 2 bases. At the same time, if the Protoss stays on 2 bases, you're feeling pretty comfortable as a Terran.
Mm-hmm.
Is the priority here, like, when they're on 2 base, you don't really need to kill probes, especially just keeping those medevacs alive and maybe eventually being able to get them back to the army? Is there anything Cure needs to do? Like, are you adding on other tech buildings?
So he's gonna do the timing attack like always. When you scout Colossus, the probability of a Warp Prism harassment at the same time is very low, even if it's on 2 bases. So you can just push across the map with everything, pressure, like try and pressure a trap here, and then take the 3rd base at the same time. But what I prefer to do against Colossus is not really commit, because I think it's very hard to commit into there. And the reason you don't want to commit is because normally when the Terran player pushes out at this time, he would be maybe early even. But more importantly, the Protoss would already have 1-1 upgrades and like 2-2 very soon on the way. But for Cure, there's nothing to fear here. He is even in upgrades, and you always feel good if you're even in upgrades, I think.
So, well, what you're saying is Trap is just doing like a completely different, I guess, tempo of the game.
Yeah, he's just playing very defensively, trying to survive.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's a good playstyle, because if you are the better player, you can do a lot. Like the Warp Prism, he's super safe. You don't get like killed by a timing attack at all. He's going straight into late game. That's pretty much what this build order forces. It might not be the most optimal, like having 2-2 on the way after defending the 2 medevac push might be very good and much better of a position, but this is a very safe way to play for Trap.
Well, Trap really does like to get to the late game of PvT. He gets very, very strong when he gets out his Disruptors and Tempests, so one of the more comfortable Protosses in that phase, I think.
We're seeing again, Trap 50 probes, no probes on the way. He's getting all his tech, his infrastructure together, getting his gates up. He's got a few upgrades. He's going to poke out on the map, and I think after he pokes, sees that Cure already is kind of well set up, unless he's out, like Cure somehow doesn't see the army move out, then maybe that's when we're looking at Templar Archives, maybe a second Robo, but I doubt it.
At this point, we have to pay attention to the gas at the 3rd base for Trap. It isn't 100% clear yet if he's committing on to like a 3-base attack or just playing super safe here. So he hasn't taken the gas yet, and he just swapped in 7 Stalkers, so it looks like he's gonna push across the map and do a timing attack.
Yeah, those Colossi stepping their way across. Warp Prism, the indicator. He means business here, especially when it's going with the army. Cure gonna poke and prod, sees the Colossi, gonna pull back. A few Vikings on the way, but a handful of units trapped to start. Not bad for the Protons.
Yeah, nice little force fields right there, getting up towards this 3rd base.
Just the other 2 medevacs.
Here they are. Oh, maybe going for a bit of a flank here. Okay, here we go. He pulls the SCVs immediately, stims forward. A couple force fields go down. Those Colossus shots are connecting beautifully right now.
The medevac's going towards the 3rd. He's going to go for the base trade option, but Stalker's reinforced. Not enough Vikings to take down the Colossi.
Having the 2 medevacs across the map, I think, is not great for the Cure here. He's doing a lot of damage, but he can't kill this army anymore, and with another Colossus on the way and Wobbins at home, he's going to defend against the 2 medevacs.
Do you think he should have gone for the pincer attack and tried to flank from the back before the critical mass of, well, Stalkers in the front?
I'm not 100% sure, but I think if he had everything together, 4 medevacs and all that by units, and maybe pulled back and not fought at the 3rd base, he should have been fine.
Yeah, well, he's gotten some counter damage done here. 17 probes end up falling, but the 3rd Nexus is still alive. This command center should end up dying, so it really feels like a big lead for Trap after all that.
He doesn't have a 2nd starport, so he's never going to be able to do anything against the Colossus count. So
we did say we weren't going to, it was going to look a little different than Parting versus Cure, but right now with Colossi stepping into the natural and an attempted base trade, it feels like Cure is not, like, well, like Big Gabe said, he's not quite in the stable position. Storm is on the way, but thankfully for Kira, at least he has those ghosts in production.
Yeah, he's getting the EMP upgrade as well.
Like, this is very, very difficult for Kira. His supply is not that bad. The worker count isn't so bad either, but the problem is really the starport production. He has a medevac that's empty, his buy units are still stimmed, but he also needs to get like Vikings here. So what do? You try to do like medevacs and Vikings out of one starport. That takes so much time that in this time, Trevor's gonna get his economy back right up.
Yeah, with his Storm finishing up and everything, another Robo coming up.
It feels like, well, Trap only have 46 probes, so he doesn't really have the money to just continually warp in, produce, get all of the upgrades. So he picks and chooses, throwing a couple sentries in there. One Guardian Shield for an army of 100 supply has such ridiculous cost efficiency.
Yeah. And now with the second Robo, I think he's actually just going to go into Disruptors from here. It's just the right way to do it, since there are Vikings being made, since the Ghosts are coming out. The Disruptor is going to give him that non-stop splash damage coming out.
4 Colossi to deal with. I think there's just 4 or 5 Vikings with that. 4 Vikings with that army.
Yes.
And the boys are coming across the map. He's got one shot.
Oh,
He's got one opportunity.
his ghost just got peeked back, so he doesn't even have MP at this point.
Oh.
He has one less opportunity.
Yeah,
A
this is
single drop.
not looking super hot right now for him. A little bit of a drop in the back there. Oh my God, the Templar flank just so strong right there. Trap starts to attack up the hill, thinks better of it, backs up for now.
The SCVs, a curveball, but he targets it down just in time. Still a Guardian Shield helping to protect. The Vikings doing damage. Storm splashing all over the Marines and Marauders. The Vikings have to step back. The gateway units are starting to evaporate, but the probes come out.
Oh,
the
that's
last
almost very
Colossus.
Oh man. Yeah, and I mean,
Wait,
not many
look at
units
the Stu.
really left over here.
That was actually very close.
Yeah.
One last Storm really did a lot of damage.
Oh,
Like, he was one High Templar away from losing the game, I felt like.
Yeah, I think you could be right about that. And it's kind of funny, too. He did get a lot of probe damage done during that time. So look at this. I mean, 32 army supply for Kier, 25 for Trap, but only 17 SCVs against just 31 probes.
this is where losing. Oh, wow. Yeah, he just taps it out.
Yeah.
He did have a good army supply, but he still has to rally across the map before he can use it. And at that point, Trap would already have more.
Well, that's where losing that third command center really hurts. Like, you got
Yeah,
3
actually,
orbitals to fall back
If
on.
he didn't lose that one, he would have actually been in a pretty good spot here.
I think that was a lot. Well, it kind of ended up a lot closer because it feels like you have Colossi and Storm and Disruptors. We've all seen that story on the ladder before. I've watched your stream before, Big Gabe, but Trap did not go for the economy early on. He didn't be like, it wasn't like, oh, I can lose 20 probes to a double drop.
Yeah. Well, he, in a lot of ways, let Kier do what Kier wanted to do because he was playing so defensively at that point, like not putting in any early damage. That's what Trap wants. But you can see that even in a situation like that where it felt like Trap had a good advantage, still Kier almost took that end fight. Trap is looking to win just by small margins in a game like this.
So I think one of the hardest parts of TVP is when you've got like a whole variety pack of splash damage from the Protoss. How do you handle that situation? Like, what is your first priority in that type of scenario Kier was in?
When he did the last attack,
Yeah.
I think he did everything right. It's very hard to explain. Pretty much what you want to do is your Vikings have to be safe, so you don't want your Vikings to like die to 10 Stalkers. That's what he did, so he kept his Vikings underneath the buy units. That was very helpful. And he didn't have any ghosts anymore, so the only way to do this was spreading. So you pulled back some units here and there, so that Colossus only hit a small amount of units. And then he tried to split. That was more like the micro that he had to do.
I feel like it all happens. Like, you got about a second and a half to pull off so many important things.
Normally you would never take a fight like that. Normally you would have Ghost and you would try to get an EMP. And you can't really engage before getting that EMP. In this case he didn't have any Ghost, so he had to rely on micro. And he did do a good job because his Vikings were uncontested, so that was the key part of that fight.
All right. Well, here we go into the next game. We are right now on Thunderbird in the bottom right. from Jin Air Greenwings and South Korea. It's Trap.
And in the top left, making the best of a bad situation. Hopefully, he can find himself in a little better one this time around. The Terran player, Cure. There's a noticeable difference in support there.
He's opening up with the gas first. If Trap doesn't go for the probe scout again, this could be very good for him. Because normally what the probe scout is supposed to do is figure out if it's gas first or not. And by sending the probe across the map and seeing that, you can judge if you have to defend against Hellions. So if it's gas first, you can get reacted Hellions out, and you have to know that as a Protoss. Because if 4 Hellions appear and you're not ready, you can lose the game immediately.
Do you favor the Hellion drop builds very much? Is it map dependent?
I think it's more map dependent for sure. On this map, it's very weak because proxying a starport here is not that easy, and getting into the main unspotted is even harder. I think if you want to go for a Hellion drop, it's probably a good idea on a weird map like World of Sleepers, or maybe on Acropolis and Disco Bloodbath, like the more standard maps.
Yeah.
One.
It's a good strat to mix in.
Yeah,
Or to do every game if you're playing against party.
It's actually not that good of a strategy, but if people are not aware of it, it's very good.
What do you think of the new build that we've been seeing quite a bit, the 4 Marine, like 2 Hellion push?
I'm not sure. It seems like a build on the smaller maps, I think. I'm not too sure about it, because it was there at some point. Maybe to mix it up, people do that, or maybe because people go for quick adapts a lot of times, and if you have reacted Marines, then quick adapts are not really a problem.
Stargate.
Cool.
I think Stargate is kind of the indicator of. I'm confident.
Whoa. Whoa.
Drilling?
Drilling Claws Rush?
The Thor drop build order.
Thor drop build?
Now that is something that
Give me a cheeky smile over here.
Is there actually a Thor drop build?
No.
No, okay.
So some Koreans do that. Like for
that was
example,
a German joke.
Bunny really likes to do that.
You mean the Drilling Claws
This
drop
is like
rush?
a Korean ladder build order from.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, this is something that actually happens on the Korean ladder and is unbelievably frustrating to play against.
So he's gonna go quick drilling claws, and then as soon as it's ready, he's gonna switch to factory with the barracks, and then he's just gonna pump out medevacs constantly, and he's also gonna make, like wood mine drops everywhere.
How much is it gonna matter if it gets scouted? Because it's likely the Oracle is gonna come in, see the armor.
If it gets scouted, it can be like a really easy defense.
If you don't know it's coming, it feels like it can snowball really, really quickly because you won't necessarily have your detection. You're probably not going to move your probes quickly enough.
So, for example, if Trap did the same build order like he did in last game, his observer would arrive very late into the base, and then this build order could actually do a lot. In addition, this build only works on maps like this because it's very greedy. So even if it gets scouted, it's not like that bad, as long as you're not getting punished.
Did he just put the Widowmine in the shadow of the command center where it's hard? Oh my god. This is why you turn shadows off, right?
It's all sorts of little things where you can hide these. Now the Oracle's coming across.
Oh.
Okay, 3.
This is really bad.
Uh-oh.
That was like the
I
worst
think
possible
Trap knows.
time.
He's not really 100% sure.
Well, if he sees that armory, I think he can probably figure it out reasonably quickly.
Yeah. But he wasn't 100% sure if there was still a Widowmine. So he didn't dive in as much as he could have.
5 kills is a really good start, though.
Yeah, it's not that bad, though, because he doesn't have that many units. Oh, he recalled these units. Okay, yeah. Then this could be really good for Trap.
All right, the Widowmine's dropping out, dunking right into the ground, and that, well...
Ooh!
All right.
If the first Widowmine hit an Oracle, this could have been even again.
He activated all the Oracles, so there are not enough energy
Yeah,
population.
that seemed a little bit weird, right? Because I understand he was kind of panicking and wanting to get that damage out.
Oh, no.
Oh,
Wait,
actually,
did he just turn them on again?
Oh, no, he misclicked it.
He just turned the Oracles on again. He just wasted all of their energy. There's no detection.
My
So wait
mom
for the
always
cannon.
said not to turn the light on and off.
I know, yeah.
Waste too much energy.
At least this one gets deflected.
Very, very important.
Oh, no.
It's a very difficult position to judge.
Dun, dun,
Oh, look at that. So
dun,
smart.
dun, dun, dun.
It's a really difficult position to judge because every Wooden Mine drop is going to matter.
Yeah.
Even if Kyo doesn't do a lot of damage, because it's super greedy what he does, he's not like in a worse position. But Robo Bay, I think, is really good against this.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
You're getting like a lot of tier 1 or tier 1.5 units as a turn. You get like Marines, Widow Mines, Barracks, eBay's upgrades, but you don't really get a second starport and you don't really emphasize starport units. So getting straight into Colossus can be really strong.
Third CC finishing up. The Barracks explosion coming up as well. We see just the +1. So far, I believe just a single engineering base. So it kind of feels like Cures keeping his options open.
That burrowing so quickly right there. Gives up his Adept.
You just have to like wait and see for each one of these. Very quick, but
Oh, how did these get in there?
they walked. Oh. All
This is
right.
kind of a funny thing about this, right? I mean, these are doing a good job, I would say. It's not like the best. Sometimes you do see this get out of control, but he's getting some random units here and there.
If he's even in workers, this is definitely not that bad. And the production tab also tells a story here.
Uh-oh.
This is what we want to have as a turn.
Retargeting. 4 more.
So painful.
You can't even forget one.
No.
That's a game changer. And Cure's gonna land his 3rd command center. He's got some meta. Oh wow!
Is he
what?
though? Is he gonna land it?
Not if that probe has anything to say about it. Go back to PVZ probe. Slaps it down. So I feel like Cure did well. Like that did everything. Like it got the return on investment, but it didn't put him in a huge lead or anything.
So like I said, it's a greedy build order. He didn't really get punished. The Oracles didn't do as much. And he did reasonable damage, so he should come out ahead after this. But it's very dangerous to play like that, because you're delaying your starport units. So if Trap does a Colossus push again, he might be in trouble. Considering that he doesn't have the Twilight though, I think this is really good for Cure.
It's like everybody's out on the map here. Kind of a bit of an assortment of Protoss units. A Colossus, some Stalkers, Sentries, Oracles, Phoenixes, and even an Immortal taking shelter under the legs.
Yeah, he's getting quite a few more gates and throwing up that 4th Nexus, so definitely going to wait a little bit longer before an attack.
The next step for the turn in this position is get upgrades, get the 4th base, and then get the Fusion Quant, the 2nd starport, I think. In this game, I imagine he doesn't make Vikings.
Confirms the 4th here, so this is kind of the turning point. Like, what kind of game are we playing?
He's gonna go for the Vikings. A lot of times I see this with straight into Liberator range. I mean, Vikings are always fine. It's not a bad choice.
But hold on, did he just... Okay, there's the 2nd starport.
Argos Academy, yeah. I mean,
feel like
both.
When your opponent already has, you know, a handful of Vikings and they've got 2 Colossus out, 3rd on the way or something like that, and then you start Vikings, I always feel like that's going to be something you need 2 starports for.
I think the EMP, like the EMP upgrade, actually kind of factors in a little here. Like if you can actually hit the Colossi, they only have 150 HP.
That is true.
Oh, does he? Oh, trap. Trap.
Yeah, taking a bit of damage this game.
Yeah, a little rough around the edges, but
not as clean, but I mean it's a drilling mount.
I'm pretty sure Trevor's gonna attack very soon. I think. Because he's lining up upgrades and he's morphing Arkans. He doesn't get Storm. So it looks like he's just gonna
kind of brute force his way.
Get an army like in the last game, but this time because he's a little later, he has more gas out of that 3rd and he gets Arkans.
I feel like Cure has all the tools he needs this time around, though. He's got a bunch of Vikings. I think he's building a planetary at the 4th.
I agree.
I think he's up to like 10 Vikings at this point as well. So
he's got a healthy number of ghosts
6.
too.
That's almost 10.
He's gonna have by the time he hits the attack, he's gonna have 10.
Yeah.
Double drop spotted out, but he sees the army, maybe looking for a recall. A lot of options out here with the double-double.
Oh, this is really good for Q.
Yeah, he does pull that back.
Drop in with the Colossi. Well,
it doesn't matter if he loses these units. If he buys enough time to the point where 2-2 finishes, there's no way he can lose a fight.
Did you know Oracles do slightly more damage than a Medevac heals?
I'm watching it, yeah.
Now you do. And Trap has had enough. He's coming across the map. He just finished up, I believe it was it +2 weapons or +1?
Yeah, he has both of them about to finish here.
And, well, Cure has 2-2 done. He actually has an upgrade advantage against the Protoss.
Yeah, yeah. Don't see that every day.
A lot of Vikings, Ghosts. Cure pulled back a lot of his army.
This is a little dangerous because he only has 2 medevacs.
Does have a lot of Vikings there, but the Archons and Stalkers can definitely zone those
This is a
a
great
bit.
wallpaper.
I think
I know, that's some box art right there.
Emil!
Good cat, no, bad cat.
Bad cat.
I think this should be a very easy fight for Cure.
I always, I want to perplexes me how long it takes professional players to realize, yeah, I guess maybe I shouldn't attack into a planetary. It usually feels like they need to dip their toe in and see if it's a good idea. Lose like 25 zealots.
He doesn't have blink, and Cure has so many Vikings. So if he goes into the natural or third base, the Vikings are gonna have a good time. You can't counter them with like a blink or something like that. But what can happen here is he forced a stim. So now he might just run back with his army and might kite his way to like winning that fight actually. But I do believe that Cure here should be able to win that fight.
Yeah, in the position that they're in right now, I'd be really surprised if Cure did not take that out.
So if he now immediately pulls back and kites this bio army, this could be really good for Trap actually.
Well, we've had a lot of time to anticipate. He pulls back immediately. EMPs from the north. The Vikings getting some good shots off. Not targeting the Colossi to start. Bio microing back. EMPs not on the Archons. Oracles trying to participate. They're not going to last too long. The Planetary at half HP.
This is really good control by Trap.
Yeah, he definitely is microing nicely. I saw that the Oracles were getting targeted down by these Vikings. So now suddenly the Vikings do not deal with the Colossus. Only one Colossus falling during this.
The Planetary helping, but it definitely felt like Cure wasn't focusing on dealing with the splash damage there. He was kind of just trying to make sure his units. Well, he wasn't doing damage. He was trying to avoid.
I'm still feeling confident in Cure here because he has 8 barracks production.
Oh, that's around the boys in front. Vikings still helping too with almost no HP, but they're going to knock down the last Colossi. Reinforcements on the way, but charge lots aren't going to turn the tides here.
Well, there's like no army left for Trap. He brought everything he had to bear there, so. This is a situation where however many gates he has, he can warp in units, but his army is like nothing. Look at that. Is that army scary? Yes, it is scary, but...
That's like 40 supply of dead bio right there.
Was that the Disruptor is worth 34 supply?
He is a Templar as well.
Yeah.
In this kind of position, it's good to just stabilize this turn, I think. Since he can just get 3-3, and like I said, if you even an upgrades or even a hat, you're fine. Like you don't really need to do a lot as a turn.
It feels like you're playing like a scenario mission or something. It's not something you expect to have in almost any game.
Now there are reasons why he has the upgrade advantage. Most of the time the reason is because the opponent gets Colossus.
But adding that third robo, I feel like the upgrades don't matter quite as much. Disruptors, frankly, don't care what your upgrades are.
Yeah.
They don't discriminate.
No.
But you can't really kill the opponent with Disruptors.
No.
As a turn, you're happy in that situation.
I feel like Trap, the first 5 to 10 seconds of the fight, good. The next 30 seconds felt... It felt like almost inevitable that he's, well, I'm attacking, we gotta try it.
Well, when he went up the ramp with his remaining units there, that was kind of silly.
Stalker
because he's like, okay, let me get into the most flankable position. You can actually come at me from 360 degrees now, and my army's much smaller than before. Like, if he runs back there, he's going to be feeling a lot better right here.
Well, as Big Gabe said, if he tries to go up to the natural third, it's going to be a good time for Cure.
So true. That's what we saw. All right, so Prism speed, more upgrades. Prism coming out.
I think Cure kind of forgot about air weapons. If he got that upgrade when he was getting 2-2, he would now be on the way to +2 air weapons. And +2 air weapons, 2-shot stalkers. Like the Liberators are going to 2-shot stalkers.
Okay, you got him, Trout. But do you feel the Liberators are, well, it feels on this map that's the way to close
Against
it out.
Disruptors, you have to make Liberators. You can't attack with like Viking, Bio.
Yeah.
It's very difficult. The only way to do that is if you go for like a timing-based build. So if you did like a 2 medevac poke at the beginning, you can kind of play very scrappy and try to take like battles. But if you play defensively like Cure did, you have to go into Liberators.
I think that here Trap, like he's starting to poke up here, but you know, like Winter said, once he puts his toe in, I think he's going to realize this is not an area you want to attack. And I think we are going to need to see Tempest here. What? He's just got... Okay.
Well, the bio retreated pretty far back.
That
but
was terrible.
Fighting
well.
under Liberators into a planetary. Okay. On this episode of Good Ideas.
The alligator bit his toe off right there.
You should start +2 air weapons immediately now.
Is it +2 air weapon? Well,
yeah,
there
+2
are
is
armor
very,
upgrades.
very important. Yeah, there you go. So you did realize. All good now.
Yeah, I
But he
feel-
could have had it by now. And if he had +2 now with Liberator range, that army from Trap would like completely... That'd be gone. Because his only way to deal with the Liberators right now is the Stalkers. And with +2 you can two-shot them. And with +2 like Stalkers are actually useless against Liberators a lot of times.
We got Storm. Well, actually, Storm just now on the way. We got like 10 disruptors here, but I believe he opened up with a Stargate, so he has that option. But it feels like Trap has kind of neglected it. He's been trying to recover since he threw away that army.
I am quite surprised he's not trying to get into Tempest here. Like, I get it, he wants the additional splash, but Tempest Disruptor is a fantastic unit composition.
I like the way that Trap plays. He's just gonna contain and take more bases, and at some point he's gonna transition.
That's a lot of death ball there, but if the Liberators are in the right spot, so a couple Zealots Cure unfortunately maxed out, which means he doesn't have too many reinforcements to work with. A lot of disruptors, but well, if the Liberators are in position, that army can't go wherever those Liberators are, but they can't be everywhere at once.
Breaking down these rocks, starting to rotate around a little bit.
He was on a sensor tower as well, a little bit slow on the reaction. Oh, Disruptor finds some connections. Bio's expendable, but it's you don't want to just give it away for free.
So I think there's the point in the game where he's gonna throw down Fleet Beacon and more Stargates, I think, after deflecting a drop.
The Zealots are...
Wouldn't mind seeing like just the completion of all the tech at this point. Get that Dark Shrine out there as well.
The
Keep
push
those
begins
forges going.
across the map. Leapfrogging the Liberators, are we looking at, that's 10, 12, something like double-digit Liberators are when it starts to be. This entire screen is going to be a no
Yes.
for you, Trap.
It's going to be a no for you. I like
It's
it.
a very good timing, like Kill.
Oh, and
He's
new...
gonna have +2 very soon, and like Trap's army is pretty much not really that strong. He has like so much supply into Disruptors, and I don't know, like this army doesn't look scary at all.
The sneakiest Templar. The Ghost, though.
Ooh.
Okay.
It was a good idea. It just didn't work out.
Now it's his only saving grace. At this point, I can't imagine him winning a fight.
To break this army is, I mean, how?
He's really got to make a mistake with the Liberators, which I just don't see happening right now.
Even that fight is quite decent for Kill.
Yeah, and look at that. As he recalls to that fourth base, Kira just goes up the other ramp. This is really looking like a Terran victory right now. Targeting down those disruptors before they can go off as well. Just nothing left over for Trap.
He's whopping in Stalkers against all these Liberators, but they're gonna get destroyed.
EMPs on a handful of units at this point.
Like now you see the Stalkers blinking in, but since he has +2, like they don't stand a chance.
Yeah, plus all that Sim bio underneath. The Stalker's just evaporating, and GG is called. Kira going to take game number 2.
Terran strikes back.
Yeah. It was some nice play.
I feel like Cure, even in game 1, it kind of felt like Cure was more comfortable just going to the next part of the game. Of course, it didn't go very well at the Widowmine drops in game 1, but Trap, it looks more and more like he's focused around these timings of, I'm going to get this and go. And he definitely pushed it too far going into the plant. There's no reason you need to go up the ramp if you're even on bases, you got decent upgrades. Why risk it?
Yeah, after he pulled back when he first attacked into the planetary, he could have pulled back like fully, and then just wait a little longer, because he would have had Blink, and then with Blink and more Stalkers, he might have been able to push up the ramp. But that's very hard to say. I think Joe in that case was just in a good position. He had good upgrades. He had like 8 barracks already. He had 2 starports. He had everything. 4 base income, 8 barracks production, 2 starports, and Trap had like 1 upgrades, and like his only thing that he really had was 3 Colossus.
Yeah, seriously, not even having Blink, like you said. Kind of a peculiar way to go about it.
At what game do you break out a proxy Rex here? I don't know if I've seen Cure.
I would never proxy in TV.
You would not.
It's bad, I think.
I think
it's a year late.
against Trap. It's a little bit tough too. You know?
The only way to proxy right now is if you know, for example, the opponent is not scouting. So, for instance, TY is somebody that does it a lot. He did that in a super tournament, and he did that against like Parting, because Parting really likes to not scout in many games.
He's either not scouting or proxying a building,
Yeah.
right? So makes sense.
So
Trap,
then, like,
much less of that.
He did put down a proxy barracks and did like a Marauder Marine rush, but like proxies really don't have a place because you can wall off against Reapers very easily. So I don't see how like a proxy can work. Maps are big and like
I love
walling
both
off
of
against
these.
Reapers.
Mario would do it.
Of course, Maru will.
Not anymore. Not anymore.
Yeah.
But here's the solid Terran. But in the bottom right is a Protoss. Looking a little shakier in game 2, but tied up 1-1. Jin Air, Green Wings, Trap.
And in the top left, our red Terran player makes some noise for Cure. Really giving us some of the best games of the tournament. Cure versus Parting, Cure versus Raynor. So far, this series, pretty good. See if we can get to that game 5 once again.
Or game 6.
Ooh. We did that twice in a tournament. I don't even know.
Once again, Trap doesn't bother scouting that much. He knows that Q is not going to do something silly, apparently. So he doesn't really care.
A gentlemanly macro game out of Cure
I mean,
once again.
at some point he's going to send the probe across the map and check a little bit. But it's not like he sends the probe out after the gateway.
He'll check if he put a proxy on his lawn right now. That's pretty much all he did, and then stuck around for the Nexus. It just Reaper expand. We're going back into the playbook here. Trap. It really felt if he takes a few seconds and is like, you know, I thought like 8 years ago we learned not to attack into planetaries for no reason, but
Gotta
we learned
relearn
that lesson again today.
You have to relearn that sometimes. Sometimes you just need to attack
Once
into
a day.
planetary when their whole army's standing there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
We all do it sometimes. It's
I've seen my replays.
yeah.
Oh, he sees it and pulls back. It's a
Yeah,
very,
that's like the only information that he needs.
that's the very pro gamer move. I'm
You
like, I'll
just-
pull back. and-
Okay, this is like a normal time Nexus. That's what he saw. And then I'm going to pull back, and now I don't have to worry about end adapt, canceling my command center. So I can go straight into reactor on the barracks and straight into the factory as well. I imagine if he saw like a quick adapt, you could make like Marauder even, or something like that, or get additional Marines in a bunker. That's why he's scouting. And also proxy gate, of course.
Do you like that as a counter against the quicker cyber core to actually get into a
Sometimes.
concussive shell?
I think it's actually.
So I don't see it that often, but it seems strong when I see it.
Yeah, it seems like a valid option, but if the Protoss knows that and doesn't commit too much, for instance, if the Protoss just builds one adapt and sends it across the map, you can kind of end up behind. But if he chrono boosts out 2 units, I do like it from time to time.
So this is something I think every Terran struggles with, but like just the quick blink. It always feels it's very easy to over or under commit because this is what would you agree this is he built a Sentry Twilight.
Yeah, this is like the
quick
most
blink
standard
pressure.
build. This is not the Colossus build. This is going to be a Twilight into third base, into double forts, I would assume.
So how do you like to handle this?
You don't really have to do anything against it. You just have to know what the Protoss is doing. That's most of the time how it works. If you have an idea what the Protoss is doing, then you can be fine. But that's the difficulty, figuring out everything. In this case, I do like to play against this, because if I see the Sentry, I immediately know what's going to happen. And this is actually not that bad. Oh, wow. He's
This
going to use
is
that
some
Sentry.
interesting math here. Oh, the Adept changes the equation.
The Pro Pool.
Yeah, I love that
They've
the
been-
probes come out to fight the Hellion.
Oh, he's going for it. He finds it.
Nice pickoff right there.
Oh, he F2'd. A hallucination.
Oh my God, he panicked.
Yeah. And now he doesn't see the third base from Cure.
Oh my god.
He has no idea what Cure is doing, and for this reason,
Trap's like, are you serious right now? Are you really going for this?
for this reason, he now has to assume that this might be like a normal Widowmine drop, but it's clearly not. So, what you really want to do against this is get your Stalkers out on the map, for instance, get the third base, get double forts immediately. But he's like worried. He's like, Woodermine drop is about to hit me. Hellion attack is about to hit me. No information.
Yeah, well, you know what? F2 is the worst habit I've ever seen. Like
I
every
think
pro
as
gamer
a-
does it almost
As
too.
a Terran player, it's pretty okay.
Yeah,
But as a Protoss and Zerg, I would never use it, I think.
yeah,
I'll try to avoid it as much.
totally.
You
Pulling.
obviously don't play Zerg very much, big Gabe. But
The very, like, the top Zergs, if you are a top Zerg, you should never use F2.
pro
Yeah.
tips.
They're controlling
Protoss as
everything
well.
with hotkeys. Like, as a Zerg, you can...
Oh,
I mean,
wait.
Protoss... Oh, wow. That's actually pretty good for trap.
Oh, he turns it around.
Normally, scouting, I like when an adept gets into my main because it's a free kill. But since Q is doing something non-standard, he's like getting triple CC immediately. This is very good scout for trap in this case.
And he instantly starts the prism there. Is there something you're looking to do specifically
No,
against that quick third CC?
Against quick third CC, you can just do anything. You can get like a person, you can get Twilight, I mean Templar's Archives.
A little bit of blank pressure coming up, maybe.
I feel like I'd want a quick
I wouldn't
second
make
torch.
too many Stalkers. He did make some because he thought it was going to be a Woodermine drop.
Does he just go? He's going to take some shots, pick off a Marine. That depot there as well to maybe draw some fire. But Templar Archives relatively quick here. Just skipping the charge and going straight into Templar. What do you think?
I like to play against Templars more than against Colossus or Disruptors.
And
And-
why is that, big game?
It's just easier for me to counter Templars with EMP than Disruptors, because Disruptors don't really have a counter. The only counter is if you get like an air army, like in the last game, you have a lot of Liberators, and a Protoss somehow made 10 Disruptors against like 10 Liberators. So then, yeah, sure.
That's a counter.
That's very good. So the goal is to get into that kind of position. But Disruptors really don't have like a significant counter. Colossus have like Vikings and Templars have EMP. But Disruptors, I mean the counter to Disruptor is like +2 Liberators. But getting there with range is a pretty long way. And quite hard.
5 gates finishing out. Trap up to 65 probes. It feels like once that Adept got in, he kind of like sigh of relief.
Yeah, that was very, very good scout.
It looks like it's going to be an actual storm drop. It's been a little while.
Oh.
Especially against Terran.
Well, that would be kind of interesting. But with the army moving out, maybe he wants to use that defensively.
Yeah. I mean, recall is still an option.
Yeah.
So this wasn't a normal triple CC, this was a very fast triple CC.
Zealots.
So pushing out on the map is with this very dangerous for the Protoss in this case. Because normally they go 1-1-1 and then triple CC, then the push out is dangerous for the turn. But this army is like very, very powerful. Since he didn't invest anything into like a Woodermine drop or something like that.
It looks like Trap not really knowing that Cure's right at his front door. The Widowmine goes, I mean, the Widowmines take out the Prism. Suddenly the Bio Army splits. The Storm negated. There's a couple more.
There are not too many Immortals. So
Oh, he's
this
firing at
army
the gate.
He's not really gonna die. But the second Immortal I think is gonna save him here.
Yeah.
And
It's like
oh,
he
he
messed
is
up.
another Storm very soon as well. So.
Oh, that's that tank trying to hide under the rocks there, but it felt like maybe a little bit more opportune. But he killed the Prism back at home, which
I understand why Q did that, because there was only one Immortal and the army was consisting mostly of Stalkers. So this could have gone like very well for Q, but it wasn't so bad in the end as well.
but he's at 72 SCVs, getting his armory, Ghost Academy. He's fine economically. He has his production up because
It's not double forge from Protoss as well. Important to note. Oh.
I feel like every storm you feel like it's going to do incredible damage, and it's 2 Marauders. It's just Terran reflex a little bit.
But the Medivacs are empty, that's at least good. So you can't use them. You can use it on some units, but not.
Couple Widowmines boxing out that 4th base. He might be going for the snipe. It's not quite completed yet, only halfway done. Robo base still in production, which means he's investing. The 4th base is just canceled right off the bat. Nice Widowmine hit in the center mass. He's not going to kill the main army, but he denies the 4th. And well, he's constantly checking. He's going to look at those upgrades and be pretty happy with himself, I think.
Yeah. Look, Cure right now actually has a really stellar economy. He's kind of finishing out his tech tree quite a bit.
The only thing missing is the 4 from Q.
Well, did he make the 4th command?
No,
No.
he didn't. No, he's starting.
Yeah. There we go. Yeah, maybe a
Ooh.
little bit late there.
Colossus, that's very interesting. It's a very big investment. And Q is like aggressive the entire time, so if he can like somehow figure timing out here, this could be very dangerous.
Trap once again focusing on unit composition over just the brute force. We see so many Protoss with the double forge, blink charge styles. Storm boxes out for now. Widowmine's going to take a few hits. Reinforcements can deal with the Zealots. They realize maybe this isn't the place they want to be right now.
Zealots blink away, so.
Zealot blink. It's a new upgrade.
Well, already Vikings on the way. This is a little bit, well, besides the addition of disruptors in the last game, it's kind of feeling a little more like a Heart of the Swarm type of TVP, like a lot of Colossus and Storm, and less focus on just mass gateway.
I like to mix it up. Like, I like that Trap mixes it up since he's getting Colossus, and when you play against his Templar style, you're like, yeah, let's get all these ghosts. I mean, disruptors are kind of a problem, but like, he's getting all these ground units, and suddenly like 4 Colossus appear is really bad then for Cure.
Yeah, he's got a lot of medevacs, but that second starport just now finishing up.
Once
Of course,
again,
we're going to have 4 Colossus in a moment here.
should start +1 air weapons. It's always important to get the air attacks.
It feels like the armory upgrades are something even the best Terrans sometimes just neglect. It was like Liberator range even before.
Just don't have a lot of money, so he can get why he's forgetting it, because he doesn't want to skip a Viking right now.
Well, the Stalkers blink forward, pick off a couple Vikings. Storms coming in from the south. The armies are joining together. EMPs across the front, not hitting anything too key. Still a couple Storms in the back. The Vikings in pursuit.
He doesn't. His army wasn't even stimmed.
It's kind of a weird engagement. Those 4 Colossus really starting to clean up a little bit, but nice spread. More units coming down from the north right there.
This fight just kind of keeps escalating as people keep piling in from either side, and there's not much anti-air, but the Colossi are beating the Terran ground, so...
If there's another weapon, it's going to be very good for
Oh, whoa. Where did everybody else come from?
No anti-air here.
the
Just 2 Stalkers. He's going to be able to pick off the rest of the Colossi.
There's still rounds of production coming out for Cure, but he can't just warp them in. Couple Storms on 2 Vikings, maybe a bit of an investment.
He has another Colossus, that's why he did that. He needs to take out the Vikings, and then he's good.
It feels like we're getting a little close to the scenario last game. Well, he split off a couple Zealots. No Planetary at the 4th yet.
Yeah, still morphing right now. That's the rally units down from his main base. Try to take this out. Trying to target down that Colossus. The nice Storm goes off, though.
The next round of charge lots coming in. Cure's back is almost broken. He's running out of reinforcements, and Zealots are picking apart his economy. The bio units, well, now that the Colossi are gone, there's I say just, but an Archon. Another round of charge lots. The planetary finishes. Can Cure stabilize, or is this just too much?
There's even another Templar.
God. Well, he gets 1 EMP, but still has some Storm energy left over here.
That was a very awkward fight by Cure. Not stimming his army, not really setting up a flank.
The upgrades kick, I think 2-2 finished somewhere in that last minute and a half we've been fighting. The planetary finishes, and Cure holds.
Okay.
For now.
Cure is alive, but he lost 45 SCVs.
And now already Colossus at home.
Yeah.
He already rebuilt some of them.
Yeah, he's still got his upgrades going.
Oh, 3 Robos? Well, 3 Colossus on the way, like...
Yeah.
He knows what he wants. Cure, like, he doesn't have Liberator range. Ghosts aren't really that game-changing unit. Liberators can be, but you're not going to build, like, 6 Ghosts and be like, well, try to stop this. Where is the... If there was to be... I know what you want to say, Hero Marine, but if there was to be a solution for Cure, what would it be?
I don't think the game is over yet. Like... you can't really kill the opponent if you make that many Colossus. And you don't really have a gateway force as well.
Yeah, I guess
I think if he gets a little more time, this is pretty playable for Cure.
Well, it doesn't seem like there's a real kill timing coming up here from Trap, right? Like, he does have a lot of Colossus, but is he just going to attack a planetary again?
No, he doesn't have to attack the
I
planetary.
think he'll go towards the Nat.
Yeah, he doesn't want to give Cure the time to stabilize. Terran can stabilize very nicely in this scenario, since he has the production and the upgrades and everything.
How many Vikings do we actually have right now? 4 more are about to pop out. Oh, God, he only has 1 Viking. Okay,
1-to-1 ratio doesn't seem...
He's going to try to set up a flank here. It is very good.
And Bio coming from both sides does a ton of splash damage, but EMP is on the front line. It's almost just the Colossi left over. The Warp Prism comes to the front. The reinforcing charge lots, and Cure is starting to melt.
Yeah, the reinforcement's really a thingy again. But it is not that bad. yet.
These fights all seem like,
We're going to have the exact same fight again.
All right, some Marines stimming down.
The thing is, there's going to be a reinforcement.
Oh, there's a disruptor. Oh,
He's dodging.
and okay. Oh wait.
Yeah, the reinforcements, and now a win for Trap.
Yeah, it really is starting to look like that.
And the Zealots split off and find some more SCVs.
And here we see the same thing again, where the SCVs will run to the planetary to get the Zealots to die.
Yeah, they also go the same way.
A little bit closer each time. He's down to 40. This time it's
Ah,
a supply gap.
He's
so
learning.
The Vikings, there's only two badly bruised Colossi, but 2 Gs and Trap takes 2 to 1.
All right. These two are really playing some nice games, though, there. Oh, what do you think went wrong with that strange attack in the center? You know, you were mentioning there was no stim for a moment there. It was kind of just from one flank. What was going on there?
I think he was just caught off guard. He didn't
Yeah?
have his army in the right place, and then he got attacked like that. I think Cure did have what it takes to win that fight.
Yeah.
He just kind of got caught off guard.
It looked at first like he was going to be completely fine with the fight, and then it just kind of things started to go wrong. The Colossus were getting great hits and everything.
One thing I'm noticing about Trap is in all those fights, he's not using the Prism really to warp in every once in a while, but he's actually just using it for micro, because we keep seeing like a dozen charge laps coming from across the map.
Yeah, that's right, but it also has to do with the fact that Cure was actually targeting the Prism a lot of times with the Vikings, especially in that in the first like big battle.
Well, it is kind of the key, right?
Yeah, he did chase the Prism quite far away from the army at that point, which made it really funny because then the Colossus had like 2 stalkers trying to keep them alive. And
I do agree if he had like another warp prison and didn't just juggle with it and had another warp in straight away, he might have been able to win that game more comfortably for sure.
Yeah,
But I think Cure did a very good job zoning that prism.
like a puck style strategy where it's like we're just gonna have 5 speed prisms here, 5 Colossi, and whatever else we can afford.
yeah.
And that's gonna be the army.
I tell you what, Trap is going triple robo like every single game right now, so he could do something like that, to be fair.
It doesn't seem that bad. And maybe it's not that good on maps like Thunderbird, but like triple robo seems very dangerous to play against.
Yeah.
The only real counter is of course +2 Liberators with range. But getting into them on a map like Ephemeron or Triton or something like that is actually very difficult.
Well, it feels like that is one way that Cure could tighten up his play slightly, is if he gets that +1 going a little bit earlier and just throws down that fusion core. Maybe he can start to counter the
But
strategy.
he was still far away from that point. In this case, he just needed to survive.
Well, we're going into game number 4 now. In the bottom right of Disco Bloodbath, it's Trap.
And in the top left, he's on his last life. The Terran player, Cure.
So this is a map where I imagine that triple robo wouldn't be as great, because this is a map where you can get into Liberators pretty nicely. It's a very large map, and very large maps, I think on these maps, attacking into the turn is going to be very difficult.
Well, also it's one of the few maps we have with the mains closer together, so your main is more exposed than your natural or third most of the time.
Yeah, and we've seen some interesting plays. You were mentioning Hellion drops can be strong here. And I've also seen, I feel like this is a map where professional Terran players have kind of a divided opinion on how it plays out in TVP, whether it's good for Terran or bad for Terran. And I feel like, I think Special told me that he felt like in the early and early mid game, it's actually a pretty good map TVP, but when it goes longer, it gets harder. What would you say about the map here, Marine?
The only reason I wouldn't say this is a Terran map is because the third base is quite difficult to defend. So if you open up triple CC, you have a hard time defending against a Warp Prism, for instance.
Yeah.
And I don't know about late game. Honestly, I don't mind this map too much in late game. But the main issue here is that the fourth base is extremely easy to take. The fifth base is kind of easy as well. But after getting 5 bases, you're in a position where you can never take another base anymore.
Yeah.
Since in late game TVP, you have Blink Dark Templars, and they snipe your planetaries.
I just listened to him say Blink Dark Templars and went one in one ear, out the other, because it just doesn't register. But I guess, yeah.
You have a run by group of Blink Dark Templar, and they will always get you a 6, because
Yeah,
with
that's
Liberators, you can't really defend on it. In this map, for sure, it's one of the maps where you can't take a 6th base.
you know, the one thing I do like about the Terran pushes here, though, it feels like both third bases are really reasonably pushable against Protoss. Like, do they have time to take down the rocks? And if they want to take that other pocket third, you kind of have that set up behind the little edge.
Yeah, for sure.
With the counter drops into the main base.
It's a bad map for Protoss to push in, but a good map for Terran, actually.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, 2 Hellions on the way. Starport. I feel like it's almost too obvious to proxy the starport on this map because you can put it almost in vision range of the main base if you really want to commit to it.
I think there's a spontaneous play by Cure going into Hellions here, because he did realize that Trap was maybe not scouting as much. And this, like I said, very dangerous if you don't know it's coming. So this could do critical damage.
Yeah,
since
yeah.
now Trap doesn't have the full information.
And look, you've got to make a wall here as well. And if you're keeping too many units up at the front, then that Hellion drop, well,
Already
if you get it.
with the Cloak Banshee behind it as well. Just more options for damage. Sometimes you find yourself, you take a little damage to the Hellion drop, you think you shore it up, maybe cut a corner, and then suddenly, oh, I don't have a Robo. Okay, Robo on the way, Trap. Last game, he did go for the
this
sentry.
is really good for Cure, maybe.
Oh, just hitting that front immediately, but the full wall does come down.
Nice block there.
I feel like
Out
a
of Trap.
grenade could have done the trick there.
It felt like Trap was kind of like trying to avoid it with the second adept a bit.
I think Cure was just playing it safe. He wasn't trying to get in, he just wanted to kill these 2 adepts. I think now the play is, Trap has to like gamble. He has to be like, okay, this is going to be a Cloak Banshee pull up, and
Yeah.
Trap Observers in at home.
I still think you need at least like whichever base you feel is more exposed to the shield battery, so you don't have to go running around after the Cloak Banshees. And it's going to be more than one usually.
Yeah, I definitely do agree that a shield battery here would make me very happy for Trap. And the thing is, you can kind of tell what's going on. You don't know right at this second, but the way he's kind of moving the Hellions, it's like, hey, Stalkers, come over here.
If I see a shield battery with benches is always extremely annoying. At least having one in the main here is like super annoying. But if he's staying on 2 bases for now, he doesn't need to get it. He's gonna bait Cure here with the Observer, and the Stalkers are gonna blink in now.
Yeah, so he will be able to pick off this first Banshee, but the Banshee going to get 4 kills?
That's reasonable, I think.
Yeah, not bad.
It's 2 base versus 2 base right now. Like Cure doesn't have an obligation to get a bunch of probe kills, like if he was up against the brute force gateway style. And Trap falling back to the unit composition with Robo Bay, just Blink Stalkers, less heavy on the upgrades, but more heavy on the power units.
Is he not having an Observer?
No, it just came out of.
Okay. Just in the nick of time.
Of course, that's something that Cure doesn't know, so he didn't commit.
When you see those Stalkers in position,
Yeah.
better to get out. So the double eBay coming up right now, adding those barracks
Trap
as
is
well.
actually supply blocked. He's getting a Colossus, but he can't build it. He's supply blocked.
Oops. Big mistake.
Well, Banshee,
So-
that's a little lazy. Okay.
Well, it's not like he's gonna get with
I
it
mean-
anyways.
So
It's more like it's already done the trick by containing Trap.
it looks like Kier does want to take that third base right there where the Stalkers are standing, and I've seen a lot more Terrans taking that lately, but is there any time that you like to take the other third?
No, I would always take the triangle third.
Oh, this is optimistic. All right.
Yeah.
Repairs the tank. Poking a little, but now Trap has to go back home and figure out what he wants to put together. I think for now, Cure is going to be the first aggressor, but like we saw last game, then Trap builds his unit composition and eventually becomes a little bit too much to handle. When should Cure be adding on, like he's going for medevacs right now, but how many medevacs before you're looking at other starport
You
units?
always make 4 medevacs at least.
And then you just
And
kind
then
of
it
see...
depends. You can make another 2, but I wouldn't make more than 6. Because at that point you will need to get into Vikings, especially if he's going Colossus first.
Has Cure spotted the Robo Bay yet? I mean, he knows.
I'm
there's a
pretty
Robo.
sure he has an idea.
Hasn't seen it yet.
I
but-
just think
Well.
the gas stove, the
Yeah.
gas on the
Oh,
as
yeah.
well now.
And that's how Trap likes to play as well, right? So you can kind of read into that.
Yeah, and also the third base was very delayed, so you can.
Yeah.
It's implied.
Oh, the Colossus.
And-
What
and
is it doing?
we're just
Where
gonna
is
kind of.
it?
We're gonna have another one of those fights where everybody just shows up and oh, I guess we're fighting now, like a rugby type of stuff going on.
That one tank is very
Oh.
nice, but see how
Ooh.
the upgrades right now line up for Trap is. Oh, and Q doesn't have one.
Oh, maybe not the place to hold position here. He's no.
He's re-
Oh my God, the retarget. No, you blink first. Well,
That bought enough time to get into a good spot again here.
I've never seen a Widowmine force field quite that effective.
I know, right? Takes a lot of APM to do that.
The Venn Dia
So
scan
many
there.
scans. It's like trying to figure out if he's being attacked, so you can do a counterattack, I think.
I think he
Yeah.
really wants to put pressure on with this army. It's just he got kind of caught off guard, and now once again the tank at the front. But suddenly, this is like half of Trap's army right now.
Yeah.
He definitely can't fight with just half.
It's funny watching him walk around with these two groups. He's pretty far forward to have his army split like that.
So Trap is morphing Akans again. That means he's gonna attack.
Scans the Colossi.
You know, it feels like he's sweeping the map trying to catch this army, and he's almost got it.
The net is closing, but I feel if he's a little disjointed, then Cure just takes out, I don't know, Key,
Yeah.
Colossi, half the Zealots.
Oh,
Well, he's going to have to
That
think
was-
about whether he wants to flank or not.
Terran does not have recall, which is a very important part of this situation right now. He already pulled. He just gave up the third, and he's sitting in the corner. What is Cure thinking right now?
I think he's trying to pull his army together, because if his army is together, I think that he's gonna have an easy time against Trap's army. Oh, this could be a really good fight for Cure.
Yeah, look at that. Very small amount of army coming out of Trap there. He throws on force fields, but they are no good. Looks like Kira is going to stim and run through, picking off just about everything.
Terran army just run like open field force fields.
But now Trap knows about this army, so he's gonna chase it.
I feel like it's already done what it needed to do, as long as he doesn't just go losing
Well,
everything right off the bat.
Actually,
Well-
a really good fight for Q again. This was a pretty decent trade if he gets it. Akan. Ah, damn it. 9 HP.
You empathize with your Terran brother out there.
Yeah, that was still sad. But Akan surviving with.
When an Archon doesn't have a full health bar, it's always very sad.
Yeah, right. It was
HP,
like
yeah.
someone was so close to getting rid of it.
Especially if it's
Pull an
like.
SCV.
If the last shot makes it like orange or like red.
Yeah.
So frustrating.
So that both sides were so focused on fighting for position that 2-2 upgrades just now starting up once
Oh,
everybody
wow.
goes back to their corner.
Yeah, that's kind of funny, isn't it?
EMP upgrade on the way. The Shockwaves 2-2, about the closest it's been this entire series. Trap pulls back, picks up a fourth. Now they play with like they got the mid-game amount of workers, but if they start losing them, it's a problem. But no player like, well, I can just lose 20 SCVs, no problem, or something like that.
Well, there's more splash damage being added in. The second Robo on the way, so some disruptors. Well, he made one disruptor so far. We'll see if he refills his Colossus count, but no, looks like he does want to stay on those disruptors for now.
3 more barracks. What do you think about this, Young Marine? He's adding
Pretty
on
normal
more medevacs and more barracks.
It's pretty normal to go into 8 barracks, but he did that before getting the 4th command center. I think it's just a mistake. I think he didn't realize that he wasn't building a 4th.
Ah, yeah. Well, he's going to go ahead and throw that fourth down. So really getting his macro underway. It's a good amount of ghosts in there as well.
I always feel like Terrans were a little stingy with that. It'd be like, well, they have 12 High Templar and you have 3 ghosts. It's like, well, I didn't get the 1 EMP I needed. We'll just build a few more. They're not bad against Zealots either.
No, they do all right. And, I mean, with enhanced shockwaves,
Just
we're
getting
seeing a lot more ghosts anyways.
So many Vikings against the disruptors.
Has he spotted a disruptor yet? I mean, it's kind of you kind of just have to feel.
It's still
when
one
they're doing it.
Colossus, so as long as he doesn't get more than 8 Vikings, I think it's fine.
You think it's all right to counter one Colossus with 8 Vikings? Well, I guess
Yeah.
you're countering the Prism too in a way,
Yeah.
but
I don't think it's that bad, but
I'm not a super fan.
8 is like 100% like the limit. You
Yeah.
want to get more than that.
Okay.
Scan ahead. That's not actually a watchtower dancing in the middle of the map. A Zealot drop, but a nice turret ring. Well, that's where the Vikings pay off.
Yeah, nice pickoff right there. More disruptors on the way. A lot of Psy Storms in here as well. Looks like a little harassment force of Zealots going around to where the 4th is supposed to be, but it's a little bit late. Kind of funny they're waiting for it there.
Once again, these players just... who sees who first? Oh, he morphed.
Whoa! What?
It would have died.
You just, well,
I would have liked to see a Storm and then Morph maybe, but these Templars.
Oh, did he throw down a snipe on it? Is that what happened?
no, the other Templar asked the Templar to dance, and they...
Yeah. It seemed a little bit
Oh.
unsure.
Not that bad, I think.
It mostly just bio. The Ghosts were able to get away, but I don't think Cure can stay in this position.
Definitely think those hits were good, though.
I think that's the first time he's really seen the Disruptors and the count of them, and just the fact that Trap has kind of stopped building Colossi.
It's very dangerous for Q now because he doesn't have the air attack again, and he doesn't even have Liberate.
Blink forward, Cure Archeon around, EMP's coming up, fadeaway shots from the Disruptors, finds a Ghost, looking for more, concussive shells helping out, but curveball into the left side, just the
really
Colossi, EMP's over the top, and Cure is actually chasing down Trap.
Really good for Q, yeah. There's no Storm, that's the problem.
Well, a couple Disruptors coming in for the flank right now. Let's see if they can get a hit. No, Cure backing up. Very nice play.
No one disrupt.
It's a
nice
dangerous
scan.
game.
That's a very good scan. He sees the Templar, Disruptors.
Trap feels like he's a little light on the trigger finger here with, well, between his Templar and his Disruptors. Does he even have Storm right now, or is every Templar just ending up as an Archon? Just me.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Napu.
No, more and more Disruptors on the way right now. Throws out 3 balls. Does connect with 1 here. Starting to fight under a Liberation Zone, but a blink down from these Stalkers to pick off some of the units, and a beautiful flank on that army.
Yeah, it felt like kind of the opposite scenario where he just stepped onto his lawn and then suddenly Trap has way more units than he can deal with. That seems like it was a pretty big mistake. Trap was pushed back, but Cure was beat down there.
Yeah.
Decent angle for Cure's bio, but the Blink Stalkers come around. Disruptors leading the charge. So they're going to force the bio away at the very least, and this command center is now under fire.
Forces that liftoff. Does get away with most of the SCVs there.
Oh, he's just
Oh,
going.
he's just going to go. All right.
Come at me, bro.
2 Liberates,
Nice dodges on the Disruptors. Some more shots coming out.
Oh.
Decent connection.
Yeah, really good one there. Some amazing size storms on the sides as well, holding those flanks tight.
Cure's supply plummeting, and GG Trap takes it 3-1, and will be moving on.
Wow, just some really great play right there.
Was that a perfect prediction out of Big
Yeah.
Game?
That was indeed.